I never know what day it is. It's Wednesday today. Such a beautiful day. It's so freaking hot. I hope you're all doing really well. I thought I'd do like a little video on like my traveling experience. Some people know, some people don't know that I actually went traveling 3 years ago now. I was planning on going for about 9 months. I ended up going for 7. I get so many questions, so I thought I would just make a whole video on it. I've got a few questions here that I get asked. I decided to go traveling because I was really anxious, hence why my videos are all about self-love. It plays a big part in my channel. I came back from dance school and I was just not feeling myself. I wanted to do something really extreme and completely outrageous. When you're that depressed and you're that desperate, you would literally do anything and everything to get rid of the anxiety. Quite dark, but also it's probably the best time in your life to push yourself to extreme measures. I was watching a lot of like people on social media and YouTube vlogging travel trips and going away. Like, it's something I've always talked about when I was younger. Like, I just wanted to discover life. When I decided to go, I was like, okay, I'm gonna save up as much as I can. I came back home, I lived with my mum. No one believed I was gonna go, and I was like certain that I wanted to do it by myself. I didn't want anyone to come with me. I ended up getting a job as a waitress, and I worked there full time for about 6 months to get the money together. I'm gonna go into some questions now. So the first question is, why solo? Why did I pick to go by myself? I've been quite independent and I wasn't with anyone at the time. I split up with a boyfriend, so I didn't have that sort of connection with someone to go. I was so confused in my head. I didn't know what I liked and what I didn't like. I wanted to push myself in the deep end by being alone. If you wanted to go with a friend, I don't see anything wrong with that, but when I met people that were traveling with other people, they'd split up, gone separate ways just because they didn't want to do the same routes. If you do travel with a partner or a friend, be open and do not be offended if they want to go on a different path. Go your separate ways and then meet back up. Like, there is nothing wrong with it. By going solo, it really helped me be in tune with my intuition, and I don't regret it at all. Next question. What's the first step to take? I walked into an agency, STA agency. STA is like known to be like a student-friendly young person's travel agency. I walked in, had an appointment with them. I was like, okay, I want to go traveling, but I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do. They said, take a load of brochures, which I did. I took all the brochures possible. Do your research, look into places, where I want to go, what I want to do, see what you like and see what you don't like. Have a think about how long you'd want to go for, when you'd want to leave, and when you could get the money together, basically. Next question, how to choose which place. I didn't actually know where I wanted to go, to be honest. Everyone had been to Asia and I was really intrigued at why. I knew that there was like a whole partying culture, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted to discover people's way of life and culture. I looked into like cultures of what intrigued me, history, what I was drawn to, basically. That is kind of how I decided on where I wanted to go. There was a few random places in the mix. Read loads of articles on Lonely Planet. I really recommend Lonely Planet for any reviews. Yeah, money was also an issue, so I kind of wanted it to be reasonably cheaper than, like, say if I was going to go to America, that's going to be way more expensive than Asia to live. I wanted to be out for as long as possible for as cheap as possible. You don't have to do that, but that's just what I wanted. Yeah, ignore my dog, by the way, he's absolutely going nuts. So the next thing I did was I planned a route from a starting point to a finishing point. Once I decided on all the places I wanted to go, grabbed a map and I just pinpointed where I wanted to go on the map, and then as I have it in front of me, you can actually make a route from it. When it came to planning a route, the things you need to consider are seasons. So there's no point of going to Asia in the summertime because that's their winter, and Australia in the summertime because that's their winter. You need to look at what month it is and what the weather's going to be like. I wanted to go when it was real hot. I wanted to leave around the October time to do the whole of the winter, which would be their summer, basically. If there's any like festivals and events, Songkran, which is a water festival, which I really wanted to experience in Thailand, but there are all sorts of festivals that go on. I just want to say, don't be too organised. I think I personally was a bit too organised. I wanted to plan things to be secure and to know where I wanted to go. I had a flight going in and a flight going out with a flexi pass, which means you can change the days. Everything in between, I just winged. I just got flights as I went went along. What flights to book is my next question, but I've kind of just told you. I would say inwards and outwards. You can fly into Laos, you can fly into Vietnam. Don't book any of those, just keep that open. Do you go with an agency? I wouldn't recommend it. Go into the agency like SDA, go into them and grab their brochures, ask for advice, but I wouldn't recommend necessarily booking with them because they don't actually have the cheapest flight. I go on Skyscanner. They are a long haul flight, so you need to be comfortable on the flight, so sometimes it is actually better to spend that extra money. My niece was being born at the time, so I came back early. Also, depending on laws as well of like certain countries, you have to get an outward flight. Like I know Thailand was 30 days. Just be careful on that. Accommodation, I booked my first couple of days in Bangkok because I was absolutely crapping myself. I think I'm quite happy that I did that. I didn't choose the best place in the world, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know why I chose this hostel. It was literally dead. As soon as I got there, I met this girl and I was like, oh my god, thank god. I would recommend booking your first 2 nights or first night at least wherever you're gonna fly into. Most people fly into Bangkok if they're doing Asia, but obviously it depends where you want to go. I'm using this as an example because I was on the phone to my mum, absolutely crapping myself. I was like crying at the time. There was no need for that. I was being so dramatic. I literally met a German girl the next day. She like knocked on my door and she was like, do you want to come for breakfast? I was like, yeah, okay. And then I was all happy again, and it was like none of that happened. Everywhere else on your trip you can just wing. Don't worry about booking your accommodation because you meet people and then they're like, oh, we're staying here, do you want to stay? And then you just look if they have any rooms, if they have a space in the dorm there. You literally will be able to get a place to stay no matter where you go, so don't worry about accommodation. It is scary being homeless, and you're like, because initially you are homeless, you end up meeting people and they're like, oh, we know a place that our friend recommended, and it's all about recommendations of hostels. If you're traveling solo, you want to be where people are. Working and visas, I don't know why I did this. I bought a visa in the UK for Thailand before I left, and I don't know why. I think I was being too paranoid and trying to be too organised, but I didn't need to do that at all because as soon as you go into the country they give you a visa. Get a notepad and pen and just look at the visa deadlines and stuff. Okay, next question. Was it scary being alone? My best friend Mel came out to meet me for Christmas, which was the best surprise ever. Me and Mel are super close. She's like my sister. We did the Southern Islands together. We did Koh Phi Phi, Koh Samui, which is kind of legendary for us because we met some fire dancers there and we ended up having the best time, met the most amazing people. We met a Australian who was also married to a Thai person who was a fire dancer there. She was absolutely amazing. We ended up going back there about 3 times. She was only with me for a month and then she went back home to get more money and she ended up coming back a couple of months later. Of the time that I was by myself, I honestly think it was like the best decision ever to go somewhere by yourself, and the fact that she came out to meet me, I was at the most happiest I've ever been. Selfless to be selfish. I was just walking up to people and asking if I could sit with them for dinner. Like, that would never happen in the UK. And I met some of my bestest friends, Kelsey and Danny, by doing that. I literally just walked up to them and was like, can I sit with you? We ended up traveling with another guy for about 2 months. I could just meet people, and then if we were like-minded, I'd stick with them for a while and then just say goodbye and then go on to the next one. I did not feel alone once. I can honestly say that as someone who's got social anxiety, like, it was the best decision I made. So how much money did you take with you? 1.5 grand on my flight. Spending money, I had estimated £1 grand a month. I think I ended up going with 5 grand. So I spent 1.5 grand on my flights and 5 grand on the 7 months I was out there. That was like the maximum amount I spent. I honestly spent about maybe £700 to £800 a month. It all depends on what experiences you do. Like, you can go abseiling, you can jump off an aeroplane, that's going to cost way more money. You can look on articles and stuff and look at Lonely Planet, which give you a really good estimated guide on how much money to spend. Essentials to buy. Okay, so the biggest essential is a rucksack. You need it to be really sturdy because mine is absolutely ruined now. It's got so many holes in, the zip's broken, so I would definitely recommend getting a really sturdy rucksack that's also lightweight, because sometimes you find yourself trekking for a hostel. Padlock is absolutely necessary, because yeah, I would love to be able to stay in a place where I trust everyone, but in dorms sometimes you don't have a set area for your rucksack to be put in. Padlock your zips together. A Lonely Planet guide, yeah, you can have them on your phone now. Me and Mel both did get our phones stolen in Bali, so bear that in mind. If you don't mind looking it around, you can also have books on each place you're going to go to, which you can read on your way. I also had a Travelex card. If I was going to use my typical debit card to take money out, I would end up paying a really high conversion rate. Well, there's loads of companies that do it, but mine was Travelex. What that does is it has a set rate for everywhere you go to. The only thing I'd say is that I don't know where we were, but I got my card eaten and I had to get a new card sent to me. But that was a bit of a nightmare. I would recommend not putting all your money on that card. Keep pounds on you for when you get home, or if you really need it as emergency money. Have a little bit of every currency that you're going to stored in a safe place in your rucksack or on you. Another thing I just quickly want to say is communicating with locals. I'm not very good with languages. Like, I was never good at learning Welsh in school, like, or Spanish or French. I had this audio app on my phone which like said the word. To have a little giggle, like Sabadika is hello in Thai. I can't remember what I said, but I said something absolutely hilarious and he knew exactly what I was trying to say. He just like burst out laughing. They're used to it. They're used to travelers. What did I get out of it? And the most important advice, it was so rewarding meeting people and helping people in different ways. I decided to do YouTube because of my traveling experience. It inspired me to do the things I want to do now in life. You need to be open, you need to have fun, you need to meet people, you need to discover new cultures other than your small little bubble, because it forms your opinions throughout life. The one thing that I did learn was like, love yourself, just go for it. YOLO is for this moment right now. But yeah, I think that's it. That's all I have to say. If you have any more questions, just please give me a DM on my Instagram. I will link it somewhere on the screen. I'm here to help you if you need some advice. I'd love to hear about the places you've traveled, if you've gone traveling or that you're thinking about going. I really hope you enjoyed this video and it was useful for you guys. Please subscribe if you haven't already, because I'd really appreciate it. I think I'm gonna sunbathe now because look how beautiful it is, and I'll see you in my next video.